Hi and welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong Country. This is part 8, Jack's on Poison Pond. So back to what we were saying in the last video about love, life and video games.
Well, I feel like something I'm quite big on, and something I'll do a lot with my future family is charts for a lot of things.
Oh Christ.
Like,
if you're Jack's children some years in the future and you hear this, I tried to stop him.
well, one thing is definitely going to be like weight, okay? Now, if we all get fat, which we will, and we all start going on diets at the same time, I'll do a weekly count of how fat we all are. There'll be a Sunday weigh-in, and it'll all go on the board. Aside from that, there'll also be an Xbox in everyone's room, and a television, and I'll keep track of their G as the weeks go on. And the one who's had the best improvement of G every Saturday will get to choose what we have on our Sunday dinner, and we'll choose a dessert for Sunday. So, I don't know. But I think I'll also be very sort of strict on quality G. Like, if someone's tried to avatar me and get 1000 G off like a pretty simple game, I'll discount that. But if someone's like completely meat boyed it, that'll be like double points or something. I'll be quite the harsh referee, but fair, I think, as well. Firm but fair.
Well, that just sounds psychotic. Frankly. Like, I mean, you were asking if I would have an Xbox in my front room. You asked that in the last video.
Yeah.
And my thought would be no, because why would I want my children having a go when I could be playing it?
Okay, so would you have your own Xbox in your own room and then a console in the front room as well, that they could sort of be absorbed in?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to force it on the kids. I want my children to decide. So if they are interested in video games, I'll let them play. If they're interested in instruments, I'll let them play an instrument. If they're interested in reading, I'll let them read. I'm not going to force my views on it.
I feel like if my kids were interested, I would have pretty much, like, you know, if I bought something on like the arcade or something, I would usually buy another copy for the main room one. I don't know if you'd need, I don't know, would you even need that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I think you would. So I'd do that. But I might just like have one game on my Xbox Live Arcade that wasn't in the main room, and keep that in Daddy's study, so to speak. So that would be like something I could use as like a bargaining chip.
You want to play a bit of Limbo? Oh well.
You know, I'm like, you know, we'll be going out shopping, and they'll be like, oh, what, you know, being kids and like chewing it up and stuff and like whining, and I'll be like, if you keep this up, you won't get to go in Daddy's study tonight and play Limbo. But I think there should be some sort of law or some sort of like,
stop parents doing that.
well, not just that, but like, especially like Limbo, if you're good, you can play a game where you're a lost little boy being ripped apart by spiders.
So are you thinking Limbo should be used as some sort of punishment?
Yeah, I think, like, if your kids are being really uppity, the punishment is to make them play Limbo in the dark without supper.
Now, I don't really have a problem with King K. Rool. Like, I think he's quite a cool villain. I like the fact he's a self-declared monarch. Although there are inherent problems with monarchies, as I frequently point out, that they're inherently anti-democratic. But
well, that's the thing. Every thing as this is different, and I think it's easier in the fact that you can actually jump out of the thing.
Yeah.
But like, you got King K. Rool, which, you know, that could be like some sort of pop act, really. But then in the third game you've got Baron K. Rulenstein. I think like in like the Kremlin sort of aristocracy, they're all competing for the most ridiculous title they can come up with.
Baron K. Rulenstein.
Because if King K. Rool sounds like a rap act, then Baron K. Rulenstein is definitely more of a rap act.
What's who do you play as? Is it Kiddy and Dixie you play as in number 3?
Yeah. And Kitty's basically a giant baby.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong if he had a like nappy on, basically. Except for some reason, Kiddy has this weird ability to roll onto water and skim himself like a stone, like once. Sigh.
I didn't even know you could miss those jumps.
Well, that would be the equivalent of me dying on the training level. I found the one where you can... Because, you know, the cart follows you, pretty much unless you're jumping from two separate ones.
Yeah.
But, you know, whilst you're on the same cart, it will be directly beneath you. But I found both ways of losing the cart while you're technically still meant to be in it.
I really want to do Donkey Kong 64 now, if only because I think there's more to say on it.
It's a huge game. Big old game, as you might say.
Big old game, as you might say. I think the problem I'm having with these old games... I got cocky there.
I actually want to see him do that again that time. I do like him stomping on his hat, like it's the hat's fault.
Diddy has multiple personality disorder. And he thinks the hat's responsible for all autonomous action.
Do you think Diddy Kong reckons like the hat is called like Hattie Kong? And
No, he thinks the hat's called Diddy Kong and he's called Hattie Kong.
Do you reckon he thinks he's the hat?
Yeah.
And he's stamping on himself. Silly Diddy.
I've confused myself now.
If anyone can figure out if that makes any sense, answers on a postcard.
To the usual address.
Jack and Ben's house.
I thought you were just gonna... I'm sure it was Ben and Jack's house last time. Next time it's just going to be Jack's house, which Ben's staying at.
No, yeah. Jack's house. Just straight off the bat. Like, I was once in a house share, but I was in the box room, so I was paying like less rent than everybody else.
Yeah.
So everyone, when they were talking to me, I would say, "Oh man, you know, our house this, our house that." They would stop me and say, "No, this is my house. You just live here on the cheap."
That's so dickish.
Could go for death. See, that is so annoying because that is the end of the level right there. And
You died to the last thing.
I died to the easy. Like, you know, you go through all these sort of tricky little jumps.
Somewhere an aging level designer is laughing at you.
Well, like in a different.
Oh, it's just through there.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
What's he doing? He seems to be searching through your cupboards for his wife.
Yeah, I sent him a really confusing email. Anyway, back to the game.
Does he even not use email? Because like I would have sent him a postcard.
No one communicates through postcards. I don't even want to say any more. No one ever did.
Well,
Victorians are quite.
You see like these Kremlings in the carts waiting for you.
Yes.
It's almost like this is the best idea ever. Like they're ready to execute some sort of plan, but I can't think what the plan might be other than to get killed. Anyway, take that.
Finally, back there at the Tykes. Oh, sorry, exit.
So, Funky's Flight, skip that. Oh, well. See, this will give you a bit of a headache.
God, I'm already feeling it, mate.
Like, they might as well call it Donkey Kong Country, not for epileptics, so people who just can't take strobes. Because in the space of 2 worlds, we've had the unrelenting flashing of the squawk, and this regular... You know, I think this level won some sort of award at the Tate Modern. That's a really obscure art sort of reference.
Is that actually true?
Yeah. Not this game, but a guy who stood there and flicked on and off, like a light switch on and off for like a long time. That won like a Tate Modern Performance Art Reward.
Oh, okay. So
Award.
The Tate Modern like will be really left field this year and award it to a level of a video game.
That was made in the 80s or 90s. I think no, it was 1994. This wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Super Nintendo, so it's still in the 90s.
That's my little combo there. I call it the stomp. I call it the head stomp, roll into your belly.
And what happens in it?
Basically, you have to set up this really elaborate trap.
So back to the game.
Basically, like I'm not gonna do it, but my shtick of that bit was gonna be I'd describe the board game Mousetrap in excruciating detail. But I'll leave it. Mainly because I've forgotten what half the trap is, apart from
The man who dives.
The man who
the
dives.
cage comes down.
That's all I can remember.
Yeah.
I think I was cheated out of that one. I was rolling. But like, you know, like this is Blackout Basement, which sounds a little bit like Bargain Basement.
Bargain Basement, the cage upstairs.
And Bargain Basement is a bargain basement because it's cheap, and I think basically, although it works, and I don't mind it that much, I think this whole flashing light thing is a cheap way to add difficulty to an otherwise very easy level.
Oh, so you're going for quite a meta reading of the level there.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like Donkey Kong's taken a very roundabout way to get to King K. Rool here.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he could have just gone for a swim.
Yeah.
And climbed up the ship.
That's my thinking. Also, another thing just generally about these games is that why do bosses wait for you to come to them? Like, if they get wind of you coming, why don't they do something?
Well, in Donkey Kong 64, K. Rool's designed this massive ship, and he goes, and it's got a big death laser on. He goes to destroy Donkey Kong Island, but then it breaks down. So he's sat there trying to fix it. So
I don't know. If you had Engine from the Crash Bandicoot series, wouldn't stand a chance.
Who's Engine?
He's like Neo Cortex's like engineer in chief.
Oh, okay.
And
well, he has an engineer, but then he betrays him.
In love, or does he cheat on him?
He's just. Oh, I see what you mean.
Does he like sort of betray his trust?
I can't remember what happens. There's a reason why he betrays him. I think he fires him because he doesn't trust him.
Oh, wow.
So then he betrays him back.
So basically, Donkey Kong 64 is in many ways Macbeth told from the eyes of a lizard.
No.
I'm gonna say yes, it is.
At what point does someone in Macbeth get fired?
Anyway, Boss Dum Drum.
This is
quite a good boss. It's probably my favourite boss. If only just for like the fact that he's shaking out enemies out of a tin. Quite like it. So, you know, like you gotta worry, like you gotta make sure that you're aware that when he's shaking out the enemies, he shakes one in one direction and he shakes one out in the other. Like that, those enemies will land on your head and knock you out if you don't know that they're coming. Basically, It's quite annoying.
This pulls what I would call an Arkham Asylum boss maneuver here, where it calls it a boss when actually it's just fighting a lot of henchmen.
Yeah, like you don't ever directly attack the drum. It's just a case of surviving. And then kaboom.
And that's it for part 8, I think.
See you next time for Chimp Caverns.
See you there.